So,
Okay, as I said, Carl is not gonna be able to come in. He got the values and then they were wrong. So, the hospital board sent over an email. District 1, we need to make some reappointments to the board. District 1, Boyd Walker will go another term. District 2, Scott Fortmiller. And then she said District 2 has a vacancy because I'm not sure who resigned. The remaining board members are Mary Hildebrand, Ruth Teichman, Tracy Fancher, and Carolyn Dunn. I guess, Todd, you need to find. Aren't you
District 2.
No, that's me.
Oh, is that?
Well,
No,
it's,
Todd's District 2.
yeah, but the hospital districts are different than our commissioner
Uh-uh.
districts, right?
No.
Really?
You find one from each of your district. Todd is District 2.
So, no, that doesn't make sense because
You have an
District 3,
at-large position.
ours are different than the
But I think Ruth
hospital.
Teichman's is considered the at-large position,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
One's
Tracy,
at-large.
Because who would be my
Tim Rose.
District 3, Carolyn?
Carolyn and,
The vacant one of Tim Gross.
Yeah.
so there's that District 2.
So I think
should
District
be
3
District
has a
3.
vacant.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
she said 2. Okay, so you need to find someone.
yes. Yeah, I've asked a couple people and
Okay,
there's not a huge line, but
so I guess we need a motion to go ahead and reappoint Boyd and Scott Fortmiller.
But we can appoint, if I find somebody, we can appoint
Them at any
at
time.
any time,
Yes,
right? I mean, I
yes,
don't have
but
to-
I would go ahead and do
Yeah.
these two while the iron's hot. Let me ask Phil about these calendars first.
I make a motion that we reappoint Boyd Walker, District 1, and Scott Fortmiller, District 2, to the hospital board.
Second?
it's been moved second, we appoint Boyd Walker for District 1 and Scott Portnoy for District 2. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. You have the minutes down?
Bryce,
Do
you
the-
have
Is
one?
this,
Oh, yeah, we can do that. I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the December 15th, 2021 meeting.
Second.
Can
Been
you
moved and
just-
second, double echo. It's been moved and second, we adopt the minutes of December 15th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion
just
carried.
code of conduct, is that what Sunland Chance drew up that they'd talked to us about? Okay.
We need to pass both that code of conduct and the uniform guidance policies. Mike has looked them over. They sent me a template and we tweaked it a little bit, but not a lot. It's for the ARPA funding. They want it for their protocols, so,
So they were fine with Mike?
yes.
I make a motion that we accept the code of conduct for Stafford County.
Second?
Been moved and second, we adopt the code of conduct for Stafford County. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Just a second, I have one for you to sign. Okay, here, sign my copy, please. And then we need the uniform policies passed as well. It's the second, yeah.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we pass the uniform guidance policies and procedures for Stafford County.
Second?
It's been moved and second, we adopt the Stafford County Uniform Guidance Policy and Procedures. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Albano Township, I guess, had a board member move out of the state. He had come in some time ago and asked what he needed to do to resign, and I told him he needed to write a letter. Well, he didn't. So, Fishers were in, I think Monday, and they have an appointment that would fill that vacancy. If you would, I guess, go ahead and accept the resignation of Dan Moore.
She lives there, you know where Dan Moore lived?
Mhm.
Up there on the curves by Tanner's. 1 mile straight, or a mile and a half straight, east on the south side of the road, there's a little brick, nice
Yeah.
little brick house there.
Used to
I
live
think
there.
she's lived
She
there
owns a
quite
bunch
some
of
time.
ground right there.
Yeah, she used to
did.
live there.
I
That little brick
think
house.
she's always lived there.
She, I think she's lived there several
Or it's
years.
been in her family forever.
Yeah.
She owned like this section of ground there and then a quarter across the
But
road.
they said that she would be glad to fill, and it's the township clerk, so it would be up for election next.
Mhm.
It'll be on the ballot.
Craig and Donita are the other two on
Yes,
there, right?
yes.
Do you wanna make that
Yeah.
motion since it's
Yep,
in your
I
district?
make a motion that we appoint Judy Miller to fill the
Well,
vacancy.
first, excuse
Yeah,
me,
do
first
the
of all, you need to
resignation.
accept
Oh,
the resignation.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the resignation of Dan Moore from the Albano Township.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We accept the resignation from Dan Moore from Albano Township. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
I make a motion that we appoint Judy Miller for the Albano Township Clerk.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. We appoint Judy Miller for the vacancy of the Albano Township Clerk. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
So we still have one vacancy in Clear Creek. I think it's the clerk,
We talked about the township meeting, didn't we?
but
With Phil?
with Phil, yeah.
Is that on the calendar yet, or?
I don't think so.
Who's on Clear Creek Township?
Alan Bevan and Mike Lamb. Kent Lamb resigned, and he does have desk calendars for you.
Good.
I think Kent was the clerk. I should have looked that up. Pretty sure he was the clerk, but he would be, that position would be on the ballot coming up too, so.
But it's on Clearwater? Or what
No.
county? What township?
Clear Creek,
Clear Creek.
down the good part of the county.
Okay. So do I need to try to find somebody or just wait for it to come
I
up
would
for
just
election?
wait. I would just wait. And then Jerry Munden stopped in, wanted to know where you guys were at with those cameras on the signs or whatever it is. I told him I really didn't know that it hadn't been brought back up, but he said that his boss said he'd give you an additional 5% off if you sign up by the end of the year, but I don't have any of the paperwork. I think Rob still has it. So, and I think he's gone till after the first of the year, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
anyway, that's I explained that to Jerry, so. We have a bunch of tax roll corrections.
Yeah, I'm going through them. It looks like a large majority of these are on 2 oil leases where there's a ton of interest owners.
It was a unitized lease that was
Yes.
not
Yeah, 2 different units.
processed correctly.
The division orders weren't
And I do
processed
need like a
correctly.
5-minute exec session sometime. So, that's all I
There's a
have.
few golf carts changed and then this water flood unit that's changed and that's about it.
So Carolyn, what do you have?
Well, I was interested for one in if Michael had read the resolution,
Okay.
and his recommendation to you on it for being able to have expanded use of ARPA funds. I have asked for a review from the general counsel at Kansas Department of Commerce. I have not heard yet, but I was interested in what his.
Morning.
Morning, Mike.
Come in here looking like a thunderstorm.
There's nothing outlandish in there, Tom. If you wanna go through it, okay.
And so Shannon couldn't be here today, she wanted to come in, but they're swamped with WIC. So I had her just write you guys up an email kind of outlining what she's doing, what's going on, and, so you have that in front of you. She also wanted me to tell you that, since KDHE is gonna do the case investigations, it's gonna be difficult for her to do those weekly updates that we post. So she's just gonna post a link to the KDH website. Cause she doesn't want it to be inaccurate, so.
So they're doing our notifications of positives and any close
Yes.
contacts or anything
Yes.
like that, so
Yep.
Shannon's not doing any of that, okay.
They're still doing the testing, and the shots, of course, and they're doing flu shots, so, I think that's all I have.
That should lighten their load a little bit out there to not have to do case investigation.
I think it has. Their frustration level seems to be down some.
Because at first they were doing that, and then it got to where KDHE wasn't doing it correctly, so then they started doing it
Right.
again. And now we're, supposedly KDHE will be better.
I hope they just totally turn it over and don't kinda try to do it halfway.
I think they've totally turned it over.
Yeah.
Surprised at influenza A in Stafford County. Along with everything else.
What did you guys think about the, was it Golden Belt or CenturyLink that came in?
Golden Belt.
Golden Belt, about trying to ear tag part of the funding. I mean, I don't think we can give them a whole lot, but I mean, I do think it would help to get them some.
Yeah, it would help. I wish there was another way to pay for it, did you? find
Well,
that
I'm
out?
looking, for example, yeah, it's kind of like the chess game of which need do you apply for from a bucket that includes several eligible uses. But for example, EDA, Economic Development Administration, part of Department of Commerce, has several funding opportunities. I was kind of surprised, actually, I've been spending a lot of time looking at this the last couple of days. It may be a way to request port development funding. So then there's Baby B. There's the EDA application, which would be it'd be a big application, but it's doable, done before. That, I'm gonna check into whether we could actually ask for that 10 million, in which case we probably wouldn't want to ask for $500,000 for the broadband, right? You know?
Yeah,
Even though broadband's eligible. There's also, I anticipate, going to be an application period at the state level coming up in early February. I think holding that option open as well for the port would be wise. But it's just a matter of, I don't know, again, the chess game of where you think you might actually get funded and stuff like that, but,
yeah.
I think there's
Previously
gonna be
contacted.
ongoing
So,
opportunities.
yeah, no, you've already looked them over, but I just didn't know if you wanted to
Applying
copy
for
it or not.
broadband funding, I mean, this is, I don't think gonna be
Sign
last.
that?
So, I don't know, my take on the chess game is, it's kinda like that concept, if you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, if you don't help Golden Belt get funding now, they're probably not gonna get the bigger part of the funding in their application. I don't know that they're gonna, they don't sound like they are feeling like this is a sure thing that they'll get it even if they ask for it. That this may be a process of, you ask once and then you improve your chances of getting it on the second request. I don't know. I feel like it could be useful for our county to help try to get funding when the opportunity exists, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and something could come out between now and, I don't wanna get in over our head with the commitment and then nothing else come up for available funding, and then we have to use our ARPA money for it. So I don't wanna go over the top with the commitment, but at the same time, you don't have to pay until they do construction, which would be in 2024.
Right.
You know, I mean, who knows, in the last 2 years, everything has changed. In the next 2 years, something could change. You could have another variant come through and they could issue another whole round of ARPA, or 2 rounds of ARPA. I mean, it could be, your situation could look completely different in 2 years. But at the same time, I don't want to get too crazy with our commitment as far as dollar-wise, because I think I'd like to spread it out, try to do the most good.
Yeah.
But how much do you think is a reasonable number?
I mean, I just thought that if we had tagged something for them, I mean, it's shown that we're at least interested, but I mean, they need to understand. We have a certain pile of money
Yeah,
and we had a lot to ask, and we're gonna have a lot more that we don't even realize in the next couple of years.
this is a easily accepted expenditure, is it not, as far as broadband? It's pretty black,
Broadband, yeah.
black and white in
Well-
the restrictions.
Another interpretation of it is, you can sign a letter committing to it, but it's not a contract. I mean,
Yeah,
you could, if it really came to that, say, well, we chose not to participate in this grant. I mean, but you're not gonna even have the opportunity if you don't participate in the application process.
yeah. You think 100, 150?
I mean, I would think 100 to be a starting point, and if we ended up at the end and didn't, you know, we're wanting to do the landfill, I mean, the
Yeah.
landfill qualifies for it.
Mhm.
I don't know how much that's gonna take, and we've kinda committed to the,
Yeah,
hopefully the fair board can get their building built through with the city, which would free up some money.
but if not, we'll try to,
Yeah,
Is the
do what we
city
can.
pursuing that grant?
I don't know.
yeah, I need to talk to Billy again, it's been a week.
It was up to the Fair Board to
Yeah,
Well, okay, I didn't know.
I'll touch base with him.
contact.
So you wanna do 100, Clay?
That'd be fine.
Commit to 100? I would,
Or we could just reserve, yeah.
try to reserve 100.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be good. I mean, I think broadband for the area would be, I know it's a lot less than what they wanted, but what you want, what you get are two different things.
That's a fact.
And it's, I think they'll have to understand, I mean, we don't have the money to just come up with out of the budget or anything for it, especially when it's only gonna serve 30% of the county. But, I think it's something's better than nothing.
But they need to realize, I mean, they need to, if we come to the end of the time frame and we haven't spent the rest of the money, I mean, any money that's left over, instead of giving it
Yeah.
back, I don't mind.
Oh, yeah,
Go to
kicking
them.
into every little thing. Can you let them know,
Because the
Anita?
4 categories is water, sewage, broadband, and daycare,
Yeah.
under the ARPA guidelines.
But the daycare is only eligible under the expanded definitions under a
Right.
qualified census tract, so.
That's where our
We need to have
resolution,
Mike look at that
that's where our
resolution.
resolution comes in.
Have you looked at that, Mike?
Okay,
She handed it to me as I walked out last week.
Okay.
we need a motion that you're gonna earmark 100,000
100,000.
at this time, or kind of make it kind of vague, I mean, so, I mean, you know,
Yeah,
pending,
If we have to change.
yeah. I make a motion that we earmark $100,000 for GBT grant process as of December, was it 22nd, 3rd? Yeah.
Out of the ARPA.
Pending ARPA funding approval.
You get all that?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, we earmark $100,000 toward the Golden Belt grant from ARPA funds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
okay, now, before we forget, have I had a motion to do the tax roll corrections?
I make a motion that we do the tax, accept the tax roll corrections.
Second?
Moved and seconded, we adopt the tax roll corrections. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. I don't know what happened to the clerk.
I do think that, before we start getting complaints that Carl sent out,
Okay,
tax deals for side-by-sides.
I'll
Yeah,
you should come
let
talk
Golden
to
Belt
us.
know
Yeah,
about that.
he's
So
gonna,
And
So it ain't like this
Okay,
golf cart
you're-
deal.
Yeah,
'Cause as
he's-
far as I know, he didn't talk to us.
Well,
Are
yeah,
you guys
that's-
ready?
That's the reason I
Okay.
reached out to him
Your
about it.
childcare
Because I said, keep me updated if we're gonna change what we're doing, and he's emailed me back earlier this morning and said that he would
get front
come
row?
in.
Is there anyone in
Let
there?
let us know. for sure.
I had no idea. He wasn't on.
Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
Have a seat.
Here is our awesome flyer. I'm sure you've seen the Facebook fun and all of the talk we've been trying to get going. We just wanted to take a few minutes to just let you guys know what we are trying to do here in Stafford County. There's a group of several of us that are trying to get daycare started. We have a pretty good start with one with the school here in St. John. We're hoping that should be started here in the next 6 months to a year. And then we have a very good eye on another place. So us starting in St. John is because the need in St. John is obviously a little bit higher. We have talked with Stafford and hopefully we'll be getting one started there as well.
Yeah, so we did a countywide survey for the month of September and October to kind of assess what is the need. And from that survey, we know there's currently a need for 70 to 100 more spots in daycare at this moment. 70% of that need is in the St. John Hudson School District, with a smaller need in Stafford and Maxville. And so currently Stafford has 3 licensed daycares and some other people who also assist in meeting the childcare need there. So looking at the data, about like 1 to 2 more from just our current data would be looking at Stafford. St. John has 2 licensed daycares, which does not meet the need, knowing that we probably have like 50 spots needed right here now. And in Maxville, there's no current licensed daycares, but there are a number of people who assist in providing childcare. And so that's what this is kind of looking at, is how do we start providing infrastructure? Because we've talked to people, they can't take jobs locally because they need to travel out of town to have childcare. There's a number of people who can't enter the workforce. I think it's on there, 70% of respondents, if one of the people could re-enter the workforce, their income would increase at least by $30,000. Some of that was much higher, to $50,000 to $100,000, depending on skill sets. We were seeing that people can't move back to the county who want to live in the county because there's not child care for them to support their needs. So that's kind of what we've done with the foundational kind of work in terms of identifying and quantifying what we're looking to try to do.
And this is gonna help start and help existing. So we're definitely not trying to push away from existing.
Yeah.
We wanna help them as well as grow. So we just definitely wanted to let you guys be aware of what we were attempting in the county.
So our goal is to raise funds to help the existing daycares and start up new daycares, whether that's for supplies or getting out of home and finding another facility for them to run the daycare out of.
So what's the biggest holdup on the daycare? Is it the people that are willing to do a daycare, or is the state regulations as far as what you need to have as far as a facility? Is that the holdup?
In my investigation, I'll say in the last 2 years of having my daughter, and the people that I've talked to, people don't want to have it in their house. I mean, that's their biggest thing. They don't want to run a daycare out of their home, and there's nowhere, I mean,
There's not other viable locations if
St.
they're not
John,
running it out of their
yeah,
house.
I mean,
So
can't buy
what-
$100,000 house to run a daycare, you know? So, and then some of them that I have communicated with, the state regulations scare them a little. I don't know if scare's the right word, but, and then that's something else we would do is, provide that step of, we're
Help
gonna
them
help
through the
you.
process.
Yeah, so you think barrier to entry is the facility more than the people willing to do it. We have people, through your guys' investigations, we have people around that would do
Yeah,
it.
we've identified about at least 6 people who have expressed interest in the past year that would be willing to open a daycare if they could find a viable location.
Okay.
So what do you have to have for the viable location as far as if somebody was looking for something? Is it an open space? Does it just need to have one restroom, some kind of a kitchenette, and so many square feet of open areas? It gotta be split room?
It's 25 square feet per child, and you need a door to the out 2 exits, I guess. And then you need a refrigerator, a hand washing sink, and a bathroom sink, and a bathroom connecting just for that daycare. So the bathroom can't be shared with any other facility.
And there needs to be outdoor space.
That's probably the biggest part of the problem. So does it have to be outdoor space connected to the building or within walking distance of the building?
Connected to the building.
See, that's the biggest problem.
Yeah. Because when we've been working with Josh, with the SJ Bank building where Trey was. And at first I was like, well, we could just walk over to the playground so we don't have to worry about it, but I think we are gonna have to end up looking at putting a little playground in there for them.
So I mean, that looks at like, there's a couple of vacant buildings on the square, that would be excellent deal, but
No playground.
Yeah, and I actually have someone that owns one of them and said, let's put one in here, the square can be art, and I'm like, we can't.
can you, is that a black and white rule, or is that something you can go to the state and show them
You've dealt with the state.
It's pretty black and white. In Kinsley, we put a modular, and they had the football practice field right beside it. We thought that would be great. They didn't want to give up their practice field, but across the street is a parking lot. We'll just put it over there. It has to be on the same property as the facility. So, and that was pretty black and white. They weren't going to let us budge on that.
So that's something, it's amazing how the state's put in regulations to help everybody out, but then one little regulation like this probably cuts out 80 to 90% of the potential locations. But now they'll throw a lot of extra money for grants and funding to make it fit into their deal.
And like I said, we do have, Josh has got a great start on that building, and we're very hopeful that it'll be up and running. He's already got communication with the state fire marshal. I think he was just waiting to hear back.
I think they're working on contracts, and once those are finalized, then we're moving on to the next steps, so.
And then we have another location in one of the churches, I think, that they're looking into. So it's definitely a trying matter, but
What kind of funds are you guys, what's your goal of raising funds, I guess? Where are you at now, and where are you wanting to be?
So right now we have a preliminary fundraiser we're doing. Economic Development is able to match the first $2,500 that we raise, and the deadline for that is January 31st. That's to start going, that's to be able to provide grants to our existing mini grants to existing providers, but then also start with some of the registration process and certification for the people who want to be providers. Josh is working on what's a list of some of the needs. They're going to have to do some improvements like sink installation and stuff, so some of it would be looking at that. Right now it's hard to know the full scope. Like again, we have a lead on the school, we're working on another location. But somewhere down the road, probably like the long term is going to be the child care committee would look at potentially owning property to be able to guarantee space, and then they can cycle in and out providers, but that's going to provide the long-term stability to have access to child care.
Yeah.
So I think in our immediate, we're still kind of laying a groundwork for what exactly we're looking at. In the short term, we're looking at potentially we could have $5,000 by the end of January to at least start some process and have a sense. So I think we wanted to make sure it's on your radar today that work is happening. We're not coming for a specific ask today. we
Yeah.
might in the future when we have a better sense of what we're talking
Yeah,
about, like in
we're-
terms of scope.
Yeah, we're gonna look at passing a resolution, that basically declares us disadvantaged based on our geographical area, is that correct? Or in a roundabout way?
Are you talking about
Yeah.
well, the resolution is, one, establishing that we had economic and social disadvantage prior to the pandemic, and that the pandemic disproportionately affected
Yes.
our geographic
So,
location, being
and-
the county.
Yeah,
Hopefully then with the idea that the more expanded use of ARPA funds would be eligible in this county, even though we aren't considered a qualified census tract, which is automatically eligible for those expanded uses of ARPA funds.
I think it's a big deal to get more daycares. I think one thing that the pandemic has taught businesses is that a lot of jobs can be done from home. And I think if you had, if you don't have anywhere for your kids to go, it's hard to work a $100,000 a year job at your computer. But if you had somewhere for your kids to go.
You had some quiet time?
Yeah, well, I mean, I know how it is. But if you had a place to go, I think you'd see some of these work from home families that want to live in a rural community yet work in a work from home setting.
And I mean, it's been brought to our attention that people that even just want to come home back to the county, and people that are here and want to have more kids, like that's what's deterring them of even having more children.
So if a person bought a house with a big lot just for the idea of doing a daycare on it, that 25 square foot per kid, does that include, is that gotta be one room or the whole house?
The whole house.
Okay.
Okay. That will work. Keep up the good work.
And I will introduce myself real quick, because I know I'm a new face. I'm Trisha Green, I'm the fax agent in Kinsley, so I'll be working with these ladies and coming over here more often, so.
Cool. Nice to meet you.
Yes, you too.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks. There's
Sure, you have some.
Yeah, guys, INA wanted me to reach out to you. I know the last time I was here, we talked about the cameras and putting them around the county and stuff. And I know Rob's holding, I don't remember if it's 6 or 7 different individual quotes for the individual cameras placement. INA is going to offer a 5% discount if you guys sign off on something by the end of the year, whether it be one or all of them or whatever. They'll discount them 5% to you. I know the city went with the 5-camera system last night. I got approved for it at the council meeting from the city, so I just wanted to run that by you guys and let you know. I don't have any of that with me. Nita said Rob's on vacation and he's got the quotes evidently somewhere, but if you guys are considering anything, you can add another 5% discount to the bottom line if you do something between now and the end of the year. And that will also speed the installation up by about 4 weeks compared to after the first of the year, just because of supply issues on the equipment, so.
Okay.
You want an executive right now, or do we have anything else?
Whenever you're not done,
Okay.
it's not a huge major deal.
I saw Phil.
Bill's outside with your calendars.
Okay, somebody.
Do we need a recess?
Yeah, you might read.
We just will recess, Carol.
I make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss non-elected personnel, including the county attorney, Nita, and the commissioners. For 5 minutes, and then we will adjourn.
With no action. Second?
It's been moved and second, we go into executive session for
Non-elected.
non-elected personnel for 5 minutes, and then we'll adjourn afterwards with no action. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.